The $1,000 budget fallacy. Let's smash that budget. Let's smash it because the $1,000 budget is a fallacy, right? I made a really long video. I break down everything from how, why, everything. It's a long video. If you don't want to hang and listen to it, I appreciate it. But that's all this video is me talking shit about the $1,000 budget and why it's really not what everybody sells it as. Am I saying you can't live on a $1,000 budget? No. But I didn't edit this video. I'm not going to take the time to edit it. Hit double speed if you can, hang with it. But it is what it is. Anything you decide to do, wish you the best. Have a great day. Wow, the $1,000 budget! Oh my God, we're going to live overseas on a $1,000 budget. Let's talk about, let's discuss. No, that's all bullshit. Those are words made to manipulate you. I'm going to talk about the $1,000 budget, and I'm going to do it real fast because I got a lot of other shit to do, and I'm caffeinated. So if you're not caffeinated, I don't know what to tell you. But I'm going to cover a bunch of things. I'm probably going to miss some things. I'm probably going to double, and I'm going to weave incorrectly. But my friend's obsessed with this. JoGo Wonder, the wonder boy of the Philippines. And he's like, you go watch this budget video. You go watch this budget video. And I think my buddy does this just to get my blood pressure up. Because Mr. JoGo Wonder put out a video. You can live on $1,000 in the Philippines. And then he tells you how he lived 1 month for $1,000 in the Philippines. I'm looking for it right here. I thought I had it queued up. I don't have it queued up. But it is I'm not saying he didn't live on $1,000 a month. Well, let me circle back to that. But what I'm saying is his whole premise of his $1,000 a month budget is just bullshit. Pure bullshit. Pure. And I'm going to break it down. I'm going to smash his fallacy that he created in this video. I can't find the video, but I think I always mess it up. It's JoGo, not JoGo Wonder. Like Wonder Twin powers activate. Boom! Yay! Smash! Let's talk about this budget. So, because I always think GoJo for like hand cleaner, right? That's kind of what he reminds me of. That greasy stuff you get on your hands and then you have to wipe it off and that. So in my mind, I always confuse it and I want to make sure I'm correct because it's JoGo Wonder, not GoJo Wonder, which is hand cleaner, right? And that stuff is wonderful, but you really got to be careful. I've seen people use GoJo and then do something else, and then their hands catch on fire. That's really crazy. Anyway, long stories there. But $1,000 budget. So he breaks it down. This is how you can live on a $1,000 budget in the Philippines. And breaks down. He does a good job with his numbers. There may be some things he left out, but we'll go over that. So, who am I and why do I have such strong opinions on this subject that I can speak with definitive statements? I'm Jeff, Not Dead Yet Adventures is a channel, obviously, and 3 years ago I left America. I went to a little island in the middle of the Atlantic, and I woke up the next morning, I go out the back door, and there's the ocean. Just nothing but ocean and cliff. Like, 300 feet, big cliff, right? Like, you throw a rock, you wouldn't hear it hit the bottom cliff. And the first month I was there, I didn't do anything. Like, I would go up to the store, I'd buy some food. Like, once a week, I would take the bus to town, I'd get some food, right? But all I did, pretty much, my daily activities were sit in the house, eat some food, go for a walk, right? Go sit on the corner, maybe go get an espresso, right? But I spent a lot of time listening to lectures, reading books, writing. And I did that for, the whole month. And at the end of the month, I looked at my budget, and I've got money falling out of my pockets compared to my budget for the last 10 years before that. Like, I had more surplus money at the end of the month. I was like, what do I do with all this money? And it's because I was living on a budget, probably smaller than what JoGo was, right? Because I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't living. I was existing for the most part, right? I wasn't living a sustainable life. And his budget is not a sustainable budget. His budget is a snapshot, and probably a manufactured snapshot. Because if you listen to him, well, I didn't drink this month, I didn't do this, I didn't go on any buses, I didn't go on any ferries. So he reduced his lifestyle to get that $1,000 budget. And if you notice, it came in right under. And there's some really interesting things I'm going to point out in the script, and I'm not calling him, well, I'm not going to overtly call him a liar, but I'm going to say there's things he missed. And whether it's intentional or not, it's up to you to decide. But he's not the first one to do this. And doing this at the end of your film has a psychological effect on people. And people do it for a specific reason. And if he's just copying it because he thought it was cool, good on him. But there's a lot of things that people copy for reasons to manipulate you. Just like, say, let's have a discussion, or let's talk about this. No, it's not a let's, it's a me. I'm talking. It's my opinions. So I've been on the road for 3 years, and I run my budget totally different than these guys run their budget, because I took a sustainability approach. And what I did when I was in 2020, in February 2020, I was on my last checkout trip abroad. I took multiple trips abroad after I decided I wanted to move abroad. And so I was going on checkout trips. I wanted to make sure everything jived up, because I wasn't using YouTube as an instructor at the time. I wasn't really spending a lot of time on YouTube at all. So I was going abroad, and I had steel-manned every argument I could think of in my head. And it wasn't about creating a budget. It was about creating an entire life plan, an entire life plan. And there's 3 major factors to that life plan. There's your budget, there's your daily activities, and then there's your meal plan. Meal plan. Sorry, I'm getting over a chest cold, and whenever I talk, it seems to give me this dry cough. So you have that entire life plan, and for me, in the going expat, leaving America, let me get my claws out of here, right? Leaving America, going expat, there were those 3 factors that were really important. The daily activities, the budget, and the meal plan. And because those were my big expenditures, right? When you're working every day, you don't spend money. On your days off, what do? You go spend money. So now that you're retired, you have all these days off, and you're in this habit of, free time, let me go spend money, let me go shopping, let me go golfing, let me go whatever, right? Go spend money. That's kind of how people are programmed. And when you retire, you have to break that programming, and you have to find things that you can either afford to spend money on every day, all the time, or you have to find things that are free or low cost or in that affordable range. And you have to rework that whole life plan. Because for me, the life plan was work overtime, work overtime. Okay, I have a day off, let me go spend money, right? That's not a really sustainable once you retire, right? And a lot of people don't think about it in these terms, but I was so scared and timid about going abroad because I didn't feel like I had a lifeline. I mean, there were people I could call and desperate and, hey, I'm broken on a beach, can you get me home? And they would have, but I would never make that call, right, at that time. I didn't have the ability to ask for help, so I had to plan to do everything myself. And a lot of that goes back to being homeless, living on the streets, and a lot of stuff going on, right? But all that stuff going on is a benefit to you here and now, because I steel-manned everything. I went through and questioned, and then I came up with an answer, and then I questioned, and then I kept questioning until I got answers that were, in my mind, pretty bulletproof. And I went through my budget, I went through my daily activities, I went through my travel plans. Can I afford to get from here to here to there? And I've made so many mistakes, and there's some of them I just laugh at, right? But they're mistakes I made, whether it's discovering the high cost of cheap flights, or losing your wallet with your month's rent in cash, in a taxi, falling asleep, and anyway. There's all these mistakes that I've learned from. And maybe GoJo hasn't had that experience yet. I did watch a video of his where he's talking about how the Philippines is great because you can bounce around, go to all these places, right? But then he doesn't talk about the best airport, in my mind, in the Philippines. In my mind, one of the best airports in the world. And maybe he hasn't traveled that much, or maybe he just doesn't want to say Angeles City. But when you go to the Philippines, to me, the best place to base camp is Angeles City because of Clark Airport. Because you can be at the airport and on a plane super fast. And when you get back, especially if it's in country and you don't have to go through the international, but you can be international super easy too, right? It's only like $30 or $40 more than going to Manila to fly to places like Thailand or Japan, right? So So why wouldn't you? $40 is, you know, anytime I can pay $40 and avoid Manila, I'm doing it. No questions asked. And maybe JoGo, sorry, I keep wanting to call it GoJo. Maybe JoGo Wonder, maybe Wonder Boy here hasn't figured out that, figured that out. Maybe he's never, traveled that much or doesn't know. But for him to miss that and try and give you this encapsulated view of the Philippines and then to do this budget video like he did, it's just, I really want to stress, be careful who you listen to. If you don't like what I say, don't come back. That's fine. I've got half a dozen people, I've scarred their souls, and they come back and they hit dislike on every video. It's just the funniest thing to me in the world, but that's fine. I don't, to each his own. But when you're doing your video, your budget, and you're thinking about a budget, the budget is secondary to what you really want to think about. And, it's that whole life plan. What's your whole life plan? And to me, the most important thing is that daily activities. What are you going to be doing every day? Because that should dictate your budget and that should dictate your location. Because your daily activities are what keep you happy, satisfied, and there's all these things about the 3 things men need, in my perspective, to be happy and healthy over time, but that's not budget. So the other thing about his budget video is it's a snapshot of 1 month, right? It's just a clip of I did it for this month. Well, there are months where I kicked the shit out of his budget in America. I spent way less than he did living in America for 1, 2, 3, 4 months at a time. But I was doing it and I wasn't living, right? I was just surviving. And yeah, sorry. I broke my budget down into 4 sections, and the reason I did that, 4 areas, and the reason I did that when I was doing all this homework and researching, because I saw right away, it's not how little can I live on, it's how can I live and be happy that matters, right? So I broke down my budget to these 4 areas. I wanted a daily budget. What's my daily budget? If I want to go out and spend some money and just if I'm out walking around and I want to be impulsive, how much can I afford to be impulsive with on a daily basis? Let me give you an example. I bought this yesterday. I was walking around the grocery store. I saw it. It looked interesting. Let me try it, right? Let me see if I like it. This was $4. On JoGo's budget, you cannot afford this. Not even once. You can't afford this. It's going to crash your budget. And he doesn't discuss that because he doesn't discuss spending money. He doesn't discuss disposable money. He doesn't discuss impulsive money. If you're on JoGo's budget, right, these are super addictive. I tried these. I probably shouldn't have. This is a lemon and mint Sprite. And I'm going to stop buying these because these are super addictive, right? I had a couple. I bought a 6-pack and super addictive. But they're $1. And you can't afford that on JoGo's food budget that he outlined, and I'm going to show you that. But if you have that daily, what can I afford to spend daily? That's very useful every day, right? And then you have a monthly, because most bills are due with the month, so you need to keep track of your monthly bills. And then you have a 6-month budget. 6-month budget is going to pick up those soft durables, things like razors, things like soap, things like socks, right? Because I don't know if you've noticed, but you're going to buy socks probably more than any other article of clothing. If you still wear socks, right? A lot of people just have abandoned socks, right? In fact, I was on Shargal one time and I was wearing shoes and socks, and I think I was probably the only person within 5 miles wearing shoes and socks that day. It just cracked me up. And then you've got a yearly budget. Yearly budget's going to pick up all the hard durables like this, right? Shirts, clothes, and stuff. So let me go back through this backwards. I made this example a long time ago and it still holds true. Sunglasses. I really like my Oakleys, right? Oakleys, these cost me about $240, and if I stretch it, they can last about 2 years. I got one pair to last 3 years, but the rubber breaks down, the nose stuff breaks down, and then the glasses get scratched, right? So about 2 years is my average, going a long time. Had Oakleys for a long time, and $240, 2 years. Break that down. That's $10 a month. 30 cents a day, right? 30 cents a day is a half or a third of an espresso in Albania. So that's a binary choice, right? You only have a set amount of money. So do I want to put that money towards an espresso, or do I want to put it towards glasses? Do I want to get that extra espresso and try and squeeze more time out of something durable like this? I don't know. Shoes. These shoes, they last me about a year. They run about 120, 140, 120. That puts us right back into that $10 a month, right? So right there between glasses and shoes, I'm at $20 a month right there just in glasses and shoes. That doesn't count shirts. Now this shirt I bought 2018, 2019 for $20 at Walmart. This exact shirt. So this shirt, I'm not paying anything for it. But I wanted a new shirt, and I'm at the mall, and North Face is on sale. So I got a North Face shirt, right? Going to Japan, I need a black shirt. That's $55, $60. $60, that's $5 a month if I can get that shirt to last a year. So right there, I'm at $25 a month on just glasses, shoes, and shirt. What about underwear? What about socks? What about pants? Right? These are things that you catch in that 1 year budget. You don't catch them in that 1 week or that 1 day or that 1 month budget, right? But you need to take that money from that 1 year budget and put it down into that that smaller budget. So I need to carve this much out to do that. He doesn't discuss any of this. And he's up there promoting the idea that you can go live for on $1,000 a month. It's just pure and utter bullshit. The other thing is like soft things, like I'm getting over this chest cold, right? I had to go buy medicine, $35 twice, right? $70. Is that anywhere in his budget? Now, sure, you're going to say, well, those are emergency funds. No. You need to budget all your stuff. So emergency money is my thought process. You can do you any way you want. You can stand on your head and eat your cornflakes. It's your world, it's your life, it's your choice, right? But to be sustainable, I recognized and did a lot of research on this for years before 2020, very intensely. Like I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't playing video games. I wasn't watching, crazy people on YouTube. I was researching budgets. I was researching, cost of living. I was out talking to people about retired life. I was out, researching all this. And then once we got told to stay home for 2 years, I just went even deeper down the rabbit hole. I got to the point where I had a whiteboard, and I'm trying to find every little leak in because I want to maximize my budget. I want to travel. I want to maximize my budget. And every penny I can save, that goes towards a new plane ticket, new location, new stamp in the old passport, right? So I'm looking for every little leak so I can put a hole in it, right? So I put up a whiteboard in my apartment, and I've got a list of groceries that I'm buying this month, next month, the next month, 4 months out. I've got groceries lined up on the wall. I'm eating this meal for 3 times a week. I'm eating this meal 2 times a week. I'm eating this meal, actually it's 4, 2, and 1. And the 1 would be a flex, right? And I'm going to Costco. On this date, I'm buying these things. I'm going to Safeway. I'm buying these things. I'm going to Trader Joe's. I'm buying these things. And then, excuse me. And then I've got a flex budget, right? I've got a little play money for my food, right? So I can add some variation in there. But I had my meals planned, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, just like that. 4, 2, and 1 flex. Or out, right? I would go eat out once a week. I would go to a taco truck once a week. My snacks, I had a variety of snacks that were more healthy and budgeted. I could eat as many as I wanted, but it was all on a budget. It was all planned. So when I say I went down the rabbit hole on this, I think a lot of people don't understand the context of what I'm saying. And when I say that JoGo Wonder, Wonder Boy here, isn't painting the picture for you correctly, or that's the wrong word, and I apologize for that, isn't painting an accurate or useful picture for you. He's painting a manipulative picture for you because he's not showing you his meal plan. He's not showing you what his food budget buys you. So he said his food budget was $135 a month for groceries and $200 a month for restaurants. That's $660 at restaurants a day, $550 at the grocery store. Now, sure, eggs are 15 cents by his calculation, right? If you look at how many eggs are actually on the flat and you take the number he gave you, it's about 15 cents an egg. I was getting them for about 20 cents, 20, all the way up to 40, depending on where and the quality of the egg in Albania. Romania, they were pretty consistent, about 20 to 25 cents an egg USD. I don't remember Poland or other places, but those are fresh in my mind from this year. So he's getting a good deal on eggs. Sure, great, good for you. But $4 a day for groceries, you can't afford this. That's all your food budget for the day, right? He's talking about a local's budget. He's talking about a low protein budget, right? He's talking about a probably not even a biologically sustainable budget for food. And you're definitely, if you buy one of these a day, you're dipping into that $4. Now, overall, it adds up to $11 a day. $11 a day is like 800 pesos, something like that, 600, 800 pesos. Again, that's a local's budget. And if you want to live like a local, sure, do it. But I wouldn't live like a local in the Philippines. There's other places I've been in the world where the food's better, the infrastructure's better, the climate's better, and it's even cheaper than the Philippines, right? So, I mean, sure, if you want to go to the Philippines and live like a local, go right ahead. But the idea that you're going to live like JoGo here, JoGo Wonder, on $1,000 a month is just a pure fallacy. Just a pure fallacy. And he's selling it to you like it's reality. He is intentionally trying to sell you a false dream. And he's doing it because he's taking a snapshot of his budget and not giving you the global picture, not giving you the entirety of his life. What did he do all day? I talk about those three factors of your life, right? You got your budget, you've got your meal plan, and then you've got your daily activities. Well, what were his daily activities for the month? He said he went snorkeling for a couple days and he paid for that. Fine, great, okay, good for you. What'd you do the rest of the month? Did you sit there and throw rocks in a bucket? Did you flip cards at the wall? And then he's talking about, in the previous video, he's talking about some of his daily activities, right? He wants to get these little business cards made up, and he ordered a new camera, and he ordered a new mic set, and he didn't add that in his budget. So those are costs, expenses to his daily activities, right? That third part of your life plan, your entire life plan. Those are expenses there that he didn't add to his budget. That's $1,000. This and this right here, that's $1,000. That's nowhere in his $1,000 budget. And he didn't include it, but it is part of his life plan, right? And if you're not including things over time that add up to make your life plan workable, then it doesn't make sense. It would be like me trying to tell you I'm living on $1,000 a month, and I'm not telling you about the farm I've got out back where I'm raising rabbits and pigs, and the garden over here where I'm raising, growing vegetables, and the fruit trees over here. So I'm basically sustaining myself, and then I'm only spending $1,000 a month, right? But you're not getting the global picture, the total life picture, right? The life plan. If you don't have the life plan, the budget means nothing, absolutely nothing. And if you want to sit around in a basement, play video games all day, and eat Hot Pockets, you may as well just stay in America, because it's going to be cheaper in the long run. It's going to be a lot cheaper in the long run because there's a lot of assistance programs out there. And if you're truly tied to that $1,000 a month, then I don't think there's a better place to live than America, because you can access so many resources to help you, right? You can access nearly free medical care. You can access, things like in California they call it Section 8 housing assistance. You can access food banks. You can access, SSI or whatever that is, the general assistance. There's all kinds of things. In fact, there was a social worker who broke down a person living in San Francisco on, I think it was like $300 or $500 a month, and he had this apartment right by Golden Gate Park, had an ocean view, and they broke down everything he was doing as an example to give hope to people who are homeless living on the street. Like, look, this is how this guy does it. He goes to this food bank, goes to that food bank, goes to that food drop, gets the free bus pass, takes a bus over there on Sundays, gets that food drop, goes to this church, walks in the park every day, goes to the beach twice a week. The housing assistance is covering his rent. He's getting assistance from utilities. He's getting free Wi-Fi and internet, and they broke it all down, and it was really fascinating that this guy's just using everything available to him to survive on what would be well over a six-figure income and not doing a damn thing for work and just getting, it was all, working all the government systems. And they would tell that story to homeless people to try and encourage them, like, to engage in the system and get off the streets. But if you're listening to the YouTubers like this JoGo, and you're not getting that whole picture of everything he's doing, are you getting anything worth your time? And what else is he not telling you? If he's not telling you in his budget about the mics and the camera, what about the half cow he had slaughtered and put in a freezer? And he's eating on that. I mean, steak and eggs at $4 a day, how much steak are you buying? Just think about this. You go to the store, okay, I've got $4 a day, $4.50 a day. I go to the store, okay, well, 50 cents of that's on eggs because we got 2 eggs, right? And then, let's say 60 cents, because you got the bread, let's say that costs a dime. Okay, so that's, it leaves you $3.80, $3.90 to buy some steak. And what else are you going to eat the rest of the day? And what about water? Did you cover his drinking water? Is he buying bottled water? Is he buying jugs? Now, I know the big jugs are, 50 peso maybe for a 5-gallon jug. But at this level of budget, at this small of a budget, that 50 pesos matters, right? Like I said, you cannot afford a Coke without crashing that budget. And, it's one thing to say, if you give somebody $40 a day to go eat, pretty much anybody can go live on $40 a day, pretty much anywhere in the world I've been, right? It's pretty doable. I can eat on well under $40 a day anywhere I've been, even the most expensive cities. I may not like it, but I can do it, right? $20 a day, most places that's comfortable, and I can manage $20 a day pretty much anywhere in the world, no problem. $10 a day, now you're talking a very, very tight budget, because and I've done $10 a day. I've done $10 a day in Japan, or 1,000 yen a day in Japan for 2 weeks. I've done under $10 a day in Albania for extended periods of time, but it's not comfortable, and you have to be very, very careful because your budget is so tight. You have to be super careful about everything you spend, and there's no wiggle room, right? Some days you may not eat, and that worked out for me. Like a couple times I was trying to lose weight and save money, so it worked out great because I'd get on the intermittent fasting. I'd eat 1 meal a day, drink a cup of coffees at 60 cents, 60 lek. There's about 50, 60 cents for an espresso, and I'm good, right? I'm happy, right? Because I wanted to lose weight and I wanted to, sweat it out. But is that the lifestyle you want to live, and is that a sustainable budget over time? So this $1,000 budget myth, I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm not saying people don't do it. But what I'm saying is the way he talks about it and the way JoGo laid it out, it's totally a myth. It's totally bullshit, and it's not sustainable over time. If it was, he wouldn't be spending $1,000 on a camera and mics, right? Because that's part of the total life plan, right? And you can make all the excuses you want. Please go right ahead. I'm sure all of his fanboys will say, oh, blah, 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 and they're going to make all the excuses you want. Well, he's saving that money so he can do other things, but he didn't put that in the budget. There's no disclosure, right? And if you're saving money for a short period of time to hit a number, that's an important thing. He's presenting the idea that anyone can live on $1,000 a month in the Philippines, and that's not an accurate picture of reality the way he painted it. Now, are there people doing it? Yes, there are. But they've done other things and they live a different lifestyle. And even just think about it. If you're on $1,000 a month, can you afford $100 for a good pair of shoes? Can you afford, the North Face shirt was a little bit of a splurge and a little bit of a thing. But glasses, sunglasses, medicine, can you afford medicine? There's all these things that you really want to wrap up, and you really want to, when you're preparing for a big transition like selling everything and moving abroad with a couple bags, you really want to have a good picture, a good overall picture of your total life plan, because you can get yourself in a lot of trouble. And Old Dog in the Philippines, did a series, I think it was on John, was his name? It was a few years ago. Old Dog found, or they was connected with this American, I think, pretty sure he's American, yeah. Expat who had gone broke and was basically starving to death in the Philippines. When you look at him, he was totally emaciated, and or that's the wrong word, maybe. He was clearly, and to the point where his thought process and his speech was, significantly impaired because he was malnutritioned. And he was just trying to steal man and survive, right? And he didn't have the courage to go ask for help. So that's the other thing is know when to ask for help, know when to bug out. That's a whole nother subject. But his plan fell apart and he didn't know what to do. Didn't have the guide rail set up. Like, I need to pull the plug at this point, right? And that's another subject for another day. But when you saw him get food back in him, you saw him perk up over the series of videos, and then he came back with a better plan and happy and healthy. It's a very good, happy story, and God bless Old Dog for doing that. He really went out of his way to save that man. But don't put yourself in that situation. Don't listen to these YouTubers. Don't listen to me. Question everything I said. Double check everything I said, right? Don't believe all these people online who are trying to sell you something for a reason, trying to sell you for likes and subscribes, trying to do this, trying to do that, right? It's your life. Do what you want. If you want to eat cornflakes and stand on your head all day, go right ahead. If you want to sit there by the beach and throw rocks in a bucket all day, go right ahead. Me, I want to travel the world. I want to do things. I have my plan, and I've been executing it for 3 years. I've had my ups and downs. I've had my mistakes. I've had my falls. I got sick, really sick, a week ago, and I dealt with it because I had a plan, and I've got a plan, and it's easy. I like things, that whole KISS, keep it simple, stupid, right? That was taught to me when I was very young, and I've learned that lesson the hard way so many times that now it's almost second nature to me, right? It's almost second nature for me to just keep things as simple as possible and be fluid and move through life. But the easier, my life gets easier and happier, the more specific I am, the more I have it lined out. So when I go to the store, I don't have to hem and haw, can I afford a soda this week? I don't have to, when I'm walking around and I see a $4 drink, I don't have to go, can I afford that? Let me look at my budget. Let me pull out my envelope, and do I have enough money in my envelope because I'm doing the envelope budgeting method? No, I just know right off whether I can afford to be impulsive to that degree or not because of the way I set up my budget. I went back to those 4 things: the daily, the monthly, the 6-month, and the yearly. And as long as I stay to those numbers, I'm good. I have guardrails up, and I know where I'm going too far to, and I have extra to do more fun things, like book a flight, like go to a different city, right? Those are all things I enjoy, I want, because that's part of my life plan. It's up to you to sort that out. It's up to you to, sort through all this muddy water on the internet. And, I will caution you that when people are using words like, let's discuss this, or, let's have a conversation, or let's talk about it, right? That's a form of manipulation to keep you coming back. And whether you come back to me or not, it's up to you. I'm not here to even ask for a like or subscribe, right? I put these videos out 90% for me, so, or friends, right? Sometimes I'll make a video and it's just to say something to somebody I like. But when you find people who are being deceptive, you do not see the droids or whatever that was, right? My gut instinct is I have an allergic reaction to those people. Get away from me, right? You are slimy, you are sticky, you are nothing. I don't want to talk to you. I don't even want to go away, right? Because no matter what, I know their intent is to mislead me. I know their intent is to lead me astray. And they can dress it up all they want. They can, sugarcoat it all they want. But there was this great meme, and it went through all these headlines from CNN, and debunked, 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 debunked. And you're like, how many times does that organization have to tell you a lie, stick to the lie, and never reverse it and apologize for being wrong? before you just stop going to them. For me, I got screwed over by a used car salesman. I looked at all used car salesmen differently. And I hope you look at all YouTubers differently. And you're very scrutinizing. Finally, I found a used car salesman who I felt was honest and straight up. And I went back to him, right? Same thing, cell phone sales, everything in life. If I sense any sort of dishonesty, I'm out. There's billions of people on the planet, or millions of people on the planet. I can find somebody else to give my time and attention to, and specifically my money to. But if your most valuable thing is your time, why are you giving it to somebody who is using words that are designed to mislead you and coerce you? Using things like this, like smash, right? Why are you doing it? Is that a path to a happier, healthier, season? Do you want the last season or one of the final seasons of your life to be better or worse? I want the last seasons of my life to be the best. And right now, I'm in the best season of my life ever because I'm very selective about who I listen to, very selective about what I do, what I spend money on, where I spend time. And it all goes back to who, right? It's those 5 voices you listen to the most in your head that matter the most. And if you watched all this, thank you. If you punched out, I understand why. Have a great day. See you. Bye.